Hello everybody, today I will show you the structure of the skin. Skin has two layers in it. The outer layer of the skin is called the epidermis and inner layer is much thicker, which is called the dermis. And under the dermis there is a layer which contains a lot of fat. These yellow structures are the fats called the hypodermis or subcutaneous layer. Hypodermis is not a layer of the skin, it is under the skin. So skin has two layers. Outer layer is the epidermis, inner layer is the dermis. Now the epidermis has 4 or 5 layers. In thick skin epidermis you have 5 layers. In thin skin you have one missing or one less. You have 4 layers. So if you see from the innermost to the outermost layers, the innermost layer of the epidermis is called the stratum basale or basal layer. It is formed by a single layer of stem cells. And then you have the layer just above the stratum basale is called the stratum spinosum, and above the spinosum you have the stratum granulosum, and then above the granulosum you have the stratum lucidum, this yellow one. Stratum lucidum is only present in the thick skin. It is absent in the thin skin. That's why thin skin has one less layer. And this is the outermost layer of the epidermis. This is called the stratum corneum. It is formed by many layers of squamous cells, flat cells, and most of these cells are dead squamous cells. Okay. So those are the 5 layers of the epidermis. I am quickly repeating from inside to outside. Stratum basale, which is a single layer of stem cells. So these cells produce new cells. You know that the superficial cells of the skin always die and the skin comes off. So this stratum basale produce new cells to replace the dead cells. Then next is the stratum spinosum, then stratum granulosum, stratum lucidum. Lucidum is transparent layer, and then outermost is the stratum corneum. Now we'll see the dermis. Most of the skin structures are located in the dermis. Dermis has 2 layers. The outer 20% is called the papillary and inner 80% is formed by the reticular layer. Now which structures you can see? You see these structures just under the epidermis. These are called Meissner corpuscle. Tactile receptors are located inside the Meissner corpuscles, and tactile receptors are responsible for soft touch. So the receptors are activated by soft touch. That's why they are located close to the epidermis. Okay, so these are the Meissner corpuscles, contain the tactile or touch receptors. Okay, and these are activated by soft touch. Then you see these yellow structures. These are the nerves, and these are free nerve endings. Okay, and free nerve endings are responsible for pain and temperature. Pain and temperature receptors are located on the free nerve ending. Okay, then this one, big one, this corpuscle contains the deep touch receptors, and this corpuscle is called the Pacinian corpuscle. Okay, and then this muscle is attached to the hair follicle here, and this is called Erector Pili muscle. When this muscle contracts, it pulls the hair follicle, so the hair will get erected like this. Okay, so erection of hair or goosebump is the function of this muscle, tiny muscle. Okay, Erector Pili. And this gland, this is a gland of the skin which is called the sebaceous gland. It secretes oily secretion. Okay, and that secretion can inactivate or destroy the bacteria, microorganisms. So it has bactericidal action, as well as it keeps the skin and hair soft. Sebaceous gland, and the secretion is oily secretion called the sebum, and it keeps your hair and skin soft and oily. This is another gland of the skin. This is called the eccrine sweat gland. Eccrine sweat gland produces water-like secretion, sweat, and that sweat gets out through this tube-like structure. This is called the sweat duct, and the opening here in the skin surface is called the sweat pore. So pore is here through which the water or sweat gets out, and the duct is the tube, and this coiled tube like structure is the eccrine sweat gland. So the function of eccrine sweat gland is thermoregulation. By sweating, it lowers the body temperature. Then you see the hair. This part is called the hair root, and this part is the follicle. So follicle has a number of layers, you can see here. So this part is the follicle, and this is the shaft that you can see from outside. You can only see the shaft part. Follicle is inside, and root is also inside the dermis. Okay, and now we'll see the blood vessels. So you can see the arteries and veins. They are located in the dermis, but epidermis doesn't have any blood vessels. Epidermis has nerves but no blood vessels. So epidermis is avascular. From the dermis, by diffusion, nutrition and oxygen enters into the epidermis. And now we will see the hypodermis. This is the hypodermis under the skin, also called subcutaneous layer. It contains a lot of fats, and in female body under the skin you have more subcutaneous fat. Okay, and subcutaneous injection is given into this layer. This layer has a lot of fat, so less blood flows into the fat, so the drug can stay there for a long time and slowly enters into the blood. So if you want any drug to work for a long time, like insulin, you will inject subcutaneously, okay, for prolonged action. Slowly it will enter into the blood. So those are the structures you can see in this model. Okay.